Sulfur content of any water out there. Eating an
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming on my show. We will be starting now with Yoruba National Anthem. So just bear me a second while I bring that up for you.
Ladies and gentlemen, the national anthem of the newly formed Untitled Nation.
Thank you all. Hi, good evening, good afternoon, wherever you may be around the world. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all my viewer, anywhere you may be around the world. Yeah, before I proceed, let me just say this, that whatever I'm doing here today would be used for educational purpose. So I'm actually requesting a Facebook to allow me a broadcast under the Fair Use Act, Section 107, 1976, to allow me use this broadcast for educational purpose. Thank you. So before we proceed, I would like to pray. It's just 1 minute, 2 minutes prayer. Father, we thank you, we bless you, we appreciate you, we adore you, we honor you. We reference you, let your name be glorified, O Lord, in the name of Jesus. O Lord, as I'll be broadcasting today, O Lord, my God, and let people actually benefit in it, O Lord, in the name of Jesus. Let them benefit for the purpose, O Lord, in the name of Jesus. Only your name will be glorified, O Lord, in the name of Jesus. Thank you, Father. Thank you, Lord, for no verse that prayer. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. Amen. So, some of you, I don't know, people are not really talking about it, but let me assure you all that there is a news going on around the world, which people are not paying attention to. Which people are not paying attention to. and I think it's something that is worth discussing, right? And and my fear is if this thing is not discussed, uh, it's been ignored now. If it's not discussed, the Janjaweed government of Nigeria can actually take advantage of this because people they are watching and they know people are not really focusing on that. They are focusing on something else. So what I'm going to bring up today now is on I don't know if some of you have heard this, is about the newly approved 1 billion sales of Apache Helicopter to Nigeria and the Janjaweed government. As you can see, many people are not actually focusing on it. People are distracted. And I urge my brothers and sisters not to be distracted because these things that is newly approved can be used against the South. It can be used in the killing of people. Where normally this thing was actually disposed, was actually sold to Nigeria, which should be used to fight their terror campaign. Which so far we know most of these things that have been sold to Nigeria so far have not been used for that purpose. Instead, is used right for innocent civilian people. So I'm going to share my screen with you and let you have a look of what I'm talking about. So bear me a second. Let me just bring that up for you. So just bear me a second. I'm trying to bring that up for you. So as you can see the screen, so as you can see the screen, yeah. So you can see that's the latest news in town. The U.S. State Department approved 1 billion sales of Nigerian delayed over human rights concerned. So that's the Apache helicopter. I don't know if this has been dispatched, but we know it's been approved. It was delayed because of human rights concern, but it's now been actually dispatched now to Nigeria. And what does it mean? This means a lot. People are not talking about it. As we know, most of this military equipment that has been sold to Nigeria is either hijacked by the terrorists in Sambisa forest or is being used on civilians by the Janjaweed government of Nigeria. So if we look at this, 1 billion is a lot. These Apache helicopters, they'll be used at the war front. And what will they be used for? They'll be used to bomb, you know. As we know, there are crises between the North and the South. And this thing can be actually used on the South. Or if terrorists get hold of these things, as they've been getting hold of virtually all the equipment that's been sold to Nigeria, what do you think will happen? It will be used on the South, yeah? Southeast, we have the South, and now we have the Southwest. And these things can be flown over to our site and used to bomb our people, used to disrupt, you know, the activities of the South in general. So if we look at this, the US claim to have to support human rights, right? Okay, they do that when it favors them. They do that. They campaign about human rights when it goes in their favor. When it doesn't go in their favor, they don't talk about it. These are the people when these things are actually when it actually land in Nigeria. Look at the soldiers sitting down here. Does any one of these soldiers look like the people from the south? No, they don't look like us. They're entirely different from us. Even looking at the pictures there, you can see they are actually from the north. So they have selected the people they are going to train for this Apache helicopter. Look at them, they are northerners. As you know, Nigerian military is corrupt. We have terrorists that have been mixed with the military and they are compromised. Should they get hold of this equipment, we know what will happen with the equipment. We know what they have been doing. You do look at the Kaduna bombing, recent Kaduna to Abuja train bombing, which happened of recent. You know how many people they were killed, which was actually covered up by the Nigerian government. If these people are to be trained, these are Boko Haram, these are ISWAP, these are terrorists that will be trained to handle this Apache helicopter. And you know the Apache helicopter can be used to bomb. And what do you think will happen should they get hold of these things? If one of these soldiers we have here sitting on the floor, standing here, if they get hold of these things, what do you think will happen? They were sent to a different place. They will divert the Apache to a different region and do whatever they want to do. As you know, they are terrorists. So I'm wondering, why are people just taking their eyes off from this? It's really surprising to see the US, who claim to be the protector of human rights around the world, and seeing them sending a high weapon to Nigeria. You see, there is a problem. They are actually encouraging, the US and the UK is actually encouraging violence, ethnic cleansing in Nigeria. They know the situation of Nigeria. They know what is going on in Nigeria. So is this the right time for them to make $1 billion sales of Apache helicopter to the Janjaweed Government of Nigeria? That's the question. Why this time? Why this time? We are looking elsewhere as Nigerians. We are looking elsewhere. And meanwhile, we are overlooking our problem. For those of you from the south of Nigeria, you know, I'm actually referring to southerners. There are things that we are just taking our eyes off from. Things are very important. These things are very important, but we seem to be taking our eyes off these things. Our main problem, the first enemy of Nigeria is the UK and the US government. Take it or leave it. These people, all they have been doing in Nigeria is encouraging violence. Everything they pretend to be doing, they are doing it for their own purpose. They are doing things that will benefit them, not Nigerians. And the purpose of doing all this, okay, is to preserve their interest, stealing of resources. Look at the case of the US. The US is currently in Nigeria, in the north of the country. They pretend to be helping. They deployed their forces. They pretend to be helping in fighting terrorism. However, the US actually just created a base there because of China, because of influence of China in Nigeria. My brothers and sisters, and what are US? What pretend Benikwe and one fight terrorism? And you don't worry, they are currently in the north. Not joko sibe, not towa no ni gbogbo nkan tó ń ṣẹlẹ̀ tí ń ṣẹlẹ̀. You see how the terrorism, the northern region has been cleansed of its people. You have the the ethnic Hausas and other ethnic groups, the Nupes and so on, the Guaris, they have been cleansed off their land. And the US pretend to be in the north and did nothing about it. When they were invited into the country, the thought was they are coming to help fight terrorism. So far, I have not seen US fight terrorism. Rather, what they are there to do is to protect their interests. They know China, right, have an interest in Nigeria. As you know, China, they are there in Nigeria. You know, the Nigerian government, a useless government, have, borrowed and over-borrowed from China. They are about to take over Nigeria. The Biden government, the US government, is just there as a figurehead in Nigeria to protect their interests. And what is the interest about? It's not about China, to curb China influence in Africa, China influence in the world as a whole. Okay, we've seen the atrocities going on in the north. And if you are told the US is in the north, it has deployed its military in the north, and all those atrocities are still ongoing in the north. What difference does it make? Been there, the US been there. What difference does it make? It made no difference. That is the reason why they are just there for their own interest, to protect their own interest. These two countries, they are just there to protect their own interests. Okay, they support one Nigeria. They don't want Nigeria to break. Why? Because of their own interest. Stealing of mineral resources. As you have seen in the past, that's what they have always done, and they will continue to do. So I'm going to use some instances for you, so you believe what I'm trying to get across. So I'll start with Iraq War. Let's use Iraq War as an example. Everybody knows what happened in Iraq, right? Okay, we know the war that happened in Iraq was actually made up by the British and the US, and they lied to the world that there was a weapon of mass destruction, right, in Iraq, and which we later found out that there wasn't anything of such. So these two countries, what they've always caused in the world is chaos. Anything they lay their hands on is chaos. Everything will not end well. So I'm just going to share this article with you, so you can view it. I'll try and explain that. Just bear me a second, and I'll bring that up for you. So, Iraq War. So, let's look at this. This is an article on Iraq War. So let's look at the Iraq War. And it's still ongoing. Look at 2003 to 2011. We all know how this war was made up. We know how the US and the British went to the United Nations and made up stories just to get them to sign up for the war. And we know how it all ended. So I'm just going to read a bit of this for you. Iraq War, also called Second Persian Gulf War, which happened in 2003 to 2011, under the former president of George W.H. Bush and under the British government of Tony Blair, was a conflict in Iraq that consisted of two phases. The first of this was a brief conventional fought war in March-April 2003, in which a combined forces of troops from the United States and Great Britain and several countries invaded Iraq and rapidly defeated Iraq military and paramilitary forces. It was followed by a longer second phase in which US-led occupation of Iraq was opposed by insurgency. After violence began to decline in 2007, the United States gradually reduced the military presence in Iraq, formally completing its withdrawal in December 2011. Gbogbo alamọ bọ́rọ̀ Iraq ṣe rí, a mọ bí US àti UK bó ṣe purọ́, bó ṣe wọbẹ̀, bí United Nations bó ṣe reject gbogbo ọ̀nà tó gbà láti fẹ́ jẹ́ kó declare a war in Iraq. And this was actually refused by so many countries, though we have some European countries, that's NATO, that went with the US, they were reluctant. We have like Jacques Chirac, the former president of France, which rejected the UK and the US argument that there is no weapon of mass destruction. However, these people went ahead and actually made a mess of the country. And we know what followed after. Iraq was a peaceful place. We know Saddam Hussein is a dictator. You can't have it all, but it was a peaceful country. So the US and the UK actually created what we call ISIS. We call them ISIS, ISIS. There wasn't anything like ISWAP or ISIS in Iraq, but it was the US, it was the UK that created this terrorist group, okay? Their invasion of the country, okay, led to the creation of ISIS. And foreseeing the same thing in the case of Nigeria. They are already preparing Nigeria, the Janjaweed government, ahead of this. This is what the British want to do. You know, they don't want Nigeria divided because of their own interests, because of the mineral resources they are stealing. The UK is seriously broke at the moment after its departure from the EU, and they are looking for a country where to make up those losses. And they want to do that in Nigeria. That's why they always prefer power to be in the hands of the North, and they can go ahead and just, they do whatever they are told to do. The North, they are gummies, they are not educated. Whenever they see the British, they just do whatever the British wants them to do. That's why the British want, they prefer to have the power, stored in their hands. They are always in power. They believe they are born to rule because they listen to the instructions of the British. They do whatever they are asked to do, and by doing that, they will be in power. They continue to be in power. They continue to rule and make a mess of the country. Just as we have seen now, the country is a mess. So the reason now is why at this time? What is the US up to? Why did the US actually sell this weapon to this crazy, malicious government of Nigeria, the Janjaweed government of Nigeria? By doing this, okay, the US and the UK, they are actually encouraging violence in Nigeria, right? They want to take over the country themselves because of their own personal interest. They will want to protect their personal interest, as we have seen what they have caused in the war. As you can see in Afghanistan, what happened, they actually handed over the country to terrorist groups, to terrorist organizations. They handed it over to Taliban. Anywhere they go, destruction follows. Everywhere they go, destruction follows. So that's a Iraq war, which I've used as an example here. So I'm going to show you cases and how it happened. I'm going to play you some videos for you to see. And we, as Nigerians, should prepare ourselves. I, as a Yoruba citizen, okay, I'm no longer a Nigerian. As a Yoruba, Omo Yoruba Atata, Omo Yoruba Ododo, we better prepare ourselves ahead of all this atrocity, okay? All this atrocity that's been committed by some so-called Western countries, some gullible countries, right? So I'm going to share my screen again with you and let you view this. So these are the SQs that was given why they attack Iraq. But we know there is no weapon of mass destruction in Iraq. So I'm going to play this for you.
This is never-before-seen footage of British soldiers invading Iraq in 2003. It was taken on the 24th of March and shows Royal Marine Commandos on the Al-Faw Peninsula in the southeast of the country. Within a month, they had completed the first part of their mission, capturing Basra while the Americans went north and took the capital of Baghdad. Next, they had to find Iraq's brutal dictator, Saddam Hussein, and disarm him of his weapons of mass destruction. There was one problem, though. Saddam didn't have any.
And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
So why were these soldiers looking for weapons of mass destruction?
An axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world.
And why did the Iraq War happen in the first place?
The security of the world requires disarming Saddam Hussein now.
Well, before we answer those questions and more, a reminder to subscribe to the...
So I'm going to share this again. Just bear me a second. So I'm going to do it again.
This is never-before-seen footage of British soldiers invading Iraq in 2003. It was taken on the 24th of March and shows Royal Marine Commandos on the Al-Faw Peninsula in the southeast of the country. Within a month, they had completed the first part of their mission, capturing Basra while the Americans went north and took the capital of Baghdad. Next, they had to find Iraq's brutal dictator, Saddam Hussein, and disarm him of his weapons of mass destruction. There was one problem, though. Saddam didn't have any.
And the people who knock these buildings down will hear all of us soon.
So why were these soldiers looking for weapons of mass destruction?
Yeah, so do you hear that? They got to Iraq, okay? Their intention was to, their intention of attacking, of invading Iraq was to find a weapon of mass destruction. But on getting there, did you hear what the man said? The man said there wasn't anything like weapon of mass destruction. So what's their intention? What are they up to? Let's watch. Let's listen to that.
Axis of evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world.
And why did the Iraq War happen in the first place?
The security of the world requires disarming Saddam Hussein now.
Okay, so
Well, before
can you hear it? Okay, on our disarm Saddam Hussein. What is there to disarm when he doesn't even have a weapon of mass destruction? Can you see how these Western countries, they make up their stories, lie? It's all because of mineral resources. Why did they invade Iraq? Because of mineral resources. There wasn't anything called weapon of mass destruction. Their intention is to overtake the country, take over the country, and control their mineral resources, control their crude oil, control everything in Iraq. That was the purpose. Okay, so let's continue to listen.
We answer those questions and more. A reminder to subscribe to the Imperial War Museum's YouTube channel for more videos just like this every 2 weeks.
Why did we go to war in Iraq? I mean, if you drill down into it, the big cause of the Iraq war really is 9/11.
The terror attacks on the 11th of September 2001 shook the world.
Our very freedom came under attack in a series of deliberate and deadly terrorist acts.
Al-Qaeda terrorists hijacked US passenger planes and...
Okay, so Bush is claiming to the reason why he hijacked Iraq, the reason why he actually invaded Iraq was because of what happened because of September 9/11. Was it Iraq? Was it Saddam Hussein that actually invaded America? Was it Saddam Hussein that actually blew down the Twin Tower? Was it Saddam Hussein that actually attacked America? No. Who did? It was Bin Laden and his cohort. So why not go straight to Afghanistan and sort that out in Afghanistan? Why Iraq? We are yet to know.
Flew them into both World Trade Centers in New York and the Pentagon in Washington. Almost 3,000 people were killed.
The idea that the greatest military and economic power in the world could be attacked to that degree on its own shores is unheard of. And it really makes government.
So what is our business? If the greatest military power on earth was attacked, what's our business? Was it Saddam Hussein that actually attacked the US, or it was Bin Laden? Okay, these guys are non-conventional army. Okay, Bin Laden and his cohort are not conventional army. They are the one who attacked the US. It wasn't Saddam Hussein. Okay, so this is what we say. There is a purpose. There is a reason behind their calculation. They know what they're after. They know what they're up to. So let's continue to watch.
Let's reassess the threat of international terrorism.
But the 9/11 terror attacks were committed by Al-Qaeda, who mainly operated out of Afghanistan, while Iraq, they had nothing to do with it. Things didn't add up, so I put that question to Chris.
What the hell has it got to do with Iraq?
Well, I think this is the point. In order for terrorist groups to attain that level of impact in their future attacks, what they might look to do is to employ the use of chemical attacks, biological attacks, nuclear. I mean, that is the threat they perceive. So George Bush, in his State of the Union address in January 2002, declares an axis of
Evil, arming to threaten the peace of the world. By seeking weapons of mass destruction, these regimes pose a grave and growing danger. They could provide these arms to terrorists, giving them the means to match their hatred. The price of indifference would be catastrophic.
It wasn't that Iraq had a hand in 9/11. It was the fear that Iraq could have a hand in the next 9/11, which would be...
So, can we all hear that? We all heard what the man said. Iraq has nothing to do with weapon of mass destruction. Iraq had nothing to do with the 9/11 attack. So why is the US in Iraq? Why are the British in Iraq? So you can see that how these things are made up. Okay? So they actually trade from something for something. That's all I'm trying to bring out. The US government, okay, and the Janjaweed Government of Nigeria actually traded something for something. And what is it? That the US are allowed, to send in their troops to Nigeria, right? Okay? Because of their interest. Okay? To curb China's interest in Nigeria, in Africa. Okay? And that was traded off with the attack with the Apache Helicopter that was sold to Nigeria. It's trade for trade. Give me this, I'll give you that. They are actually playing with our life, playing with our intelligence. What the US has done here is, we don't value you people. You are black, you are idiots, you are goats. We don't value you. You are not on our agenda. You are not our priority. So whatever happened in Nigeria, we don't give a damn. We don't give a fuck. If your government kill you, let them kill you. Let them continue to kill you. It's none of our business. Our business is to curb China's influence in Africa and to curb China's influence in the world. That's what they are trying to. They are protecting their interests. So the question is, are we going to stand by and watch the Janjaweed government trade us for U.S. interest, or watch the U.S. trade us off for their own interest? That is the question. So let's continue to play it.
Be even worse thanks to the use of weapons of mass destruction. The main source of those fears was Iraq's leader, Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein is Iraq's dictator. He rules through fear. Absolutely, he rules through fear, and has a track record of using chemical and biological weapons against both his own population, and he used them during the Iran-Iraq War in the 1980s.
Saddam had even committed a genocide against the Kurdish people in 1988.
Okay, so Saddam might have committed genocide in his country. He used it for his people. He didn't use it for the world. Okay, that's between him and his people, right? But in this case, he committed no offense. He did nothing. He didn't attack any country, and the U.S. just bashed into the country and destroyed the country, and then made the situation in that Middle East worse. Okay, the invasion of the U.S., the invasion of the British actually created ISIS. The Middle East was peaceful, but the invasion of the US and the British created ISIS today. And as you know, ISIS, they are everywhere. There is nothing they cannot do. They are now in Nigeria. Okay, ISIS, ISWAP, they are now in Nigeria. Okay, they are already planning to take over Nigeria. There's a plan in place to overthrow the government and take over. All these guys you see wearing the army uniform, okay, they are terrorists. They are ISWAP. They are ISIS incorporated into Nigerian army. And once they take over, it is ISIS that will be controlling the country. It's ISWAP, Boko Haram will be controlling the country. And what do you think will happen? All this ammunition the US traded with the Janjaweed government will be used on where? It will be used in the South. It will be used to destroy the economy of the South. It will be used to brutalize the people of the South. There will be a high price to pay if these people take over the government. And do not trust anybody. If the US government can do it and allow Taliban to take over Afghanistan, they can do it elsewhere, because Taliban are terrorists. Taliban are terrorists. ISIS are terrorists. ISWAP are terrorists. Boko Haram are terrorists. So if Taliban, a terrorist organization, can take over Afghanistan with the blessing of the US, same thing will happen in Nigeria. And it's already happening before us, before our eyes. But we took our eyes off, we ignored this. Things we are supposed to pay attention to, okay? Things we have to follow, we ignore those things. We are not actually paying attention to those things. So if you think the Janjaweed government or the corrupt politicians in Nigeria are the only problem you have, no. The worst of the worst, your worst enemy is the British and the American government, because they are the one encouraging the Janjaweed government. They are the one actually backing them. Okay, if there is nobody backing them, they will not have the courage to do what they are doing now. Lots of kidnappings, raping going on in Nigeria. And everybody turned a deaf ear. We have the US and the UK government turn a deaf ear, pretended as if nothing of such is going on in Nigeria. They are actually the one encouraging all this. Don't forget, anything these countries touch, these two countries, anything they touch is destruction. Anything good they touch, you end up in destruction. And they're already touching Nigeria. You can see both countries playing the dirty game, okay? One is trying to, fight China and traded military hardware for that. And we have one who is desperate, who doesn't want Nigeria to divide, right? Because of the stealing of the mineral resources, okay? Because on their own, they can never survive. And they needed something, okay? After leaving the EU, they needed something, okay, to replace what they have lost. And it's Nigeria they are going to use, okay? And for the British, your days are numbered in Africa. Just as the way France was kicked out of Mali, you will be kicked out in Nigeria, you will be kicked out in any part of other countries in Africa. Because people, citizens, Africans, they had enough of you and they want to do away with you, and your days are numbered. It will happen soon. It will happen soon. Okay? And this fight is spiritual. The God we serve is about to actually treat you people. And I want to see how you use your fighter jets. Okay? You want to fight God and you use your fighter jets to fight God. So let's carry on. Okay? So if you see the US and the UK, they are known as the promoter of human rights. Okay? You see them shouting, screaming around the world about human rights. Meanwhile, they are the one actually violating the rights of people in their countries, in their continent. For an example of that is in Nigeria. Okay, violating the rights of the South. Okay, we are being sold off to the North. Okay, right, and these people originally they are not Nigerians. But these are the idiots, these are the goats, and these are the she-goats that listen to the British. Whatever they're asked to do, they do, and that's why power remains in their hands. But I have a good news for you. My good news is your days are numbered. You cannot stop, okay? You cannot stop the division of Nigeria. Nigeria will break up. Thus says the Lord. Nigeria will break up. Thus says the Lord. And there is nothing you can do about it. You can't stop it. Okay? And if you have the right, you think you have the right, you reserve the right, and you have the power to stop it, when God starts his work, take your fighter jets, take your F-52 bombers, and go and use that to bomb God when it starts. Use it. Let's try. And this battle is spiritual. This battle is spiritual. And before the end of the year, these are the things God wants to do. Okay? Your days are numbered. Your evil, the evil deed, everything you do in secret, okay? And you want to implement in physical. God sees everything. If you think nobody sees you, no, God sees you. Okay? So, I'll be using another case, the case of another country, okay, to illustrate how wicked these people are. And this is what they are planning for Nigeria. They want to take over Nigeria because of the mineral resources. And these mineral resources, they are in the south, not in the north. And that is why, in particular, the British does not want Nigeria to break up. But I tell you today, okay, that Nigeria will break up. The Fulani government, the Janjaweed government, okay, is the stooge of the British government. These are their tools. These are the people they used to implement, to do whatever they want to do. And you've been getting away with it. You're not going to get away with it forever. Okay? Your time is overdue. So let's look at the case of Libya. How the US actually invaded Libya for no just. As I've said, these people, anything they do, they get away with it. And nobody seems to have, stopped them. There's no consequence under the UN nation. If it had been an African country that have done what this country did, they will not get away with it. They will not get away with it. But in this case, we have the US and the UK that invaded Iraq, okay, for no reason, for no just, and they got away with it. But if it's an African leader, all you hear is, we're taking this leader to ICC, and this leader will not get away with it. This leader will be in prison, especially if you are a leader that doesn't give a toss. You don't want to have any business to do with the British or with the Americans. You don't listen to them, okay? They come after you. They come after you. That's all they do. They come after you just to destroy your government so they can replace it with a government that listens to them. They can replace it with a government who is their stooge, a government who will do whatever they ask of him. So I'm going to open this, and bear me a second. I'm going to share that with you. So let's look at the case of Libya. As we know, Libya is one of the best countries in Africa. To be honest, they are one of the best countries in Africa. We have Gaddafi, whom we know is a dictator. Despite being a dictator, he actually took care of his people. They have good health care, free healthcare, free education. If you marry as a Libyan, you will get your first car. Your marriage will be sponsored by the government. So many things that we don't have available, even in the Western countries, it's made available in Libya. All these were made available under Gaddafi. He took care of his people. It's a different thing if you are a dictator and you actually ignored your people, you don't take care of your people, and you made your people suffer, hungry and all those things, just like poverty. And we have it, just like the current case in Nigeria. But Libya's case is a different case entirely. Though he might be a dictator, but the citizens are well taken care of. So we don't know why the US actually went into Libya under Obama presidency. And we can see what happened to Libya. Remember, I just told you, anything this country touches is destruction. If they touch something good, it is destruction that will end it. We have France. As we know, France is also evil. They are evil. Okay, we have France, we have UK, and we have the US went to Libya, invaded the country for no reason. Okay, just like Iraq. Gaddafi was eventually captured. He was killed. Reason, we don't know. It's all about terrorism as well. Okay, and let's go back to when Jonathan was the president of Nigeria. Then Obama was the president of the US. The US was asked to supply Jonathan, Nigeria back then. They were asked to supply them ammunition so they can fight Boko Haram. You know what Obama said? Obama rejected. He didn't supply Nigeria. Okay? So, and the reason is, it's the same party, Democratic Party, this same government that did supply Jonathan weapons to deal with Boko Haram is now supplying a government, a Janjaweed government, which is known around the world as sympathizers of terrorists, okay, supporters of terrorists, promoters of terrorists around the world are being supplied ammunition to fight terrorists. Jonathan's government is not known to support terrorists. They are not sympathizers with terrorists. He has never supported terrorists for a second. He was not supplied ammunition to fight Boko Haram. But in this case, Buhari and his government, the terrorist government, the Janjaweed government, the Fulani government of Nigeria, who are known to be sympathizers, who are known to be supporters of terrorists, who are known to be breeders of terrorists, were actually supplied weapons to fight terrorists. To fight who? To fight their supporters. Do you think this is possible for the current Fulani government of Nigeria to fight terrorists? They are the ones sponsoring them. They are their sympathizers. They are their supporters. They actually brought them to the country. They imported foreign terrorists to the country. All these were made possible by Myetti Allah in conjunction with El-rufai and the Emir of Sokoto. These three sets of people actually imported terrorism to Nigeria. This current government imported foreign terrorists to Nigeria, and the same government, okay, is being supplied ammunition by the US. This same US refused to supply Goodluck Jonathan, ammunition to fight Boko Haram. So can we say the double standard? Can we say this is the double standard? Can we say that something is traded for something? Right, okay? So this current terrorist government, sympathizers of terrorists, the importer of foreign terrorists into Nigeria traded something with the US. That was why they were able to lay their hands on that Apache helicopter. And this is not the first time. If we remember, some jets were sold last year to the terrorist government of Nigeria by the US. This same government, this same Biden government sold that weapon to this terrorist government of Nigeria. Jonathan never had any opportunity. He was not given an opportunity to purchase. Okay? No hardware was sold to Jonathan to tackle terrorists, but hardware was sold to a terrorist government, the current terrorist government of Nigeria, to tackle terrorists, to tackle ISIS, to tackle Iswap, to tackle Boko Haram. And do you think the current government of Nigeria will actually tackle its friends? Do you think they'll tackle terrorists? No, they won't, because these terrorists have their friends. You're giving me a weapon to fight my friend. Do you think I'll fight my friend? No, I will not. They're actually going to use this weapon, this hardware, to fight someone else, to fight a different region. So there is a trade-off. So if the US is actually campaigning about human rights, please don't lecture us. Keep your human rights to yourself. Okay? You only campaign about human rights when it suits you. There, raping has been going on in Nigeria, killing has been going on in Nigeria, all sorts has been going on in Nigeria, which you are aware of. You never intervened. And Russia just jumped into Ukraine and see all these Western countries screaming, here, you cannot do this, you cannot do that, it's a sovereign nation, it's this and that. Can you see their double standard? It's a double standard. And that's why I say they only, okay, touch on human rights, campaign about human rights when it suits them. Okay? Because you are black, you are Africans, you are black, you are black. So you make no meaning to them. You are not priority on their list. You are the back burner. You are the back burner. They don't care if you are killed by the government, by your government. They don't care if you are killed by terrorists. They don't care if you are killed by any other thing. They don't care about the raping going on in Nigeria. They don't care about the killing going on in Nigeria. They don't care about the human rights violation going on in Nigeria. They don't care about the poverty going on in Nigeria. They don't care about every other thing going on in Nigeria. All they care about is, we want this gift to us. And as you know, we have a dumped government. No brain. They have no brain. This Janjaweed government, this Fulani government of Buhari, of Manami, of El-Rufai, the Sultan of Sokoto, these people are dumb people. They are not educated. They don't know what they are doing. All they care about is to be in power and chop, 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 steal money, steal resources. And that's why the British government, they actually insisted on having the Janjaweed, the Fulani government in power. They don't want South to be in power. Do you know why? Because you are just too educated, you are too smart, you are too clever, you are too intelligent for them to be in power. Because they know if you are in power, okay, they will lose their greed. They will lose their power to control you. And make no mistake, once we achieve our Yoruba nation, we have nothing to do with Commonwealth. Commonwealth is none of our business. The British government have tarnished their image. They have tarnished the rights, okay? Since the South were abandoned, okay? You care less about us. You care about the terrorist Fulanis in the North. Those are the people you care for. Those are your friends. Okay, once we achieve our Yoruba nation, there is nothing like Commonwealth. You will lose that influence. That influence you have now, you've already lost it. Because you are taking side. You are taking side in the situation going on in Nigeria. You are aware there are atrocities going on in Nigeria. But you decided to support the terrorist government. You encourage the violence and you continue to support them. That influence, you don't have influence on the South. Because all these things the Fulanis are doing, they are doing it under your instruction. Why didn't you confront Russia when Russia invaded Ukraine? I'm talking to you, US, and the UK. Why didn't you confront Russia? You are afraid to confront Russia because you know Russia will crush you. Instead, you advise the Prime Minister of Ukraine to flee the country. Just look at that advice. You advise him to flee his country. You allowed Russia to invade the country. Not only invade the country, destroyed the country and drove the people out of their land. Why didn't you stop them? Okay, if you truly believe you are the world power, why didn't you stop them? You can't stop them because you dare not confront Russia. You know Russia will crush you. You can see the double standard. All you were doing was screaming, supplying weapons to Ukraine. And we are still screaming, we are still crying out there, complaining about the injustice going on in Nigeria. You just brushed off. You brushed this South off. You brushed us off like we are nobody. Who are you? You are nobody. Who is this person? You are nobody to us. We don't care if your country is overtaken by terrorists. We don't care if you are killed in the South. We don't care if you are raped in the South. We don't care if you are dying of hunger. We don't care if you are dying of poverty. We don't care if you are dying about everything. All we care about is to protect our interests. May God punish you. And so, what today? Or do you know? You will lose control over Nigeria, not just Nigeria. You will lose control over Africa. Both the US and the UK, you will lose control. Your days are numbered. Ọlọ́run ní ẹ̀san ti dé, ìyà yẹn ìyà tẹ́ fi ń jí àwọn èèyàn, Ọlọ́run ló máa bẹ̀ wò ní ara yín. So we don't know what happened. Okay, so let me just read a bit of it for you. 11 years ago, 19th of March 2011, the United States and its military army, NATO, unleashed a sustained bombardment against Libya, where Colonel Muammar Gaddafi had been in charge for over 4 decades. Gaddafi would be killed in brutal fashion 7 months later, while Libya descended into chaos as warring parties in the fractured country turned on each other. As we can see, same thing, same pattern. Look at Libya. Libya was peaceful. There wasn't terrorism in Libya. It was the invasion of these two countries. Again, like I said, anything they touch, anything good they touch, it's destruction. It was their invasion that led to the collapse of Libya, that led to the destruction of Libya. It led to chaos in Libya. And it's still ongoing. A country with no government, or two divided governments. Can we see that? It's destruction. They brought terrorism there. Anywhere they go, they bring terrorism. Let's look at Afghanistan. Afghanistan is an example again. They tried and fought Afghanistan. Even if the war in Afghanistan is just, they ended up losing the battle. They handed over the country to Taliban. They handed over the country to terrorists. So you can see the same pattern. Look at Iraq. They invaded Iraq and handed over. Their invasion led to the creation of terrorists. That's ISIS, ISWAP. Okay? They went to Libya, same thing happened. Okay? The invasion of these countries actually led to the creation of terrorists. The country was taken over by terrorist groups. So let's go back to Afghanistan, which is the third. I'm using it as an example. We know the war in Afghanistan is just because the US was attacked by bin Laden, and bin Laden actually lived in Afghanistan. He was hidden in Afghanistan. Okay? So it was just. But at the end of it, what happened? The country was handed over to Taliban. And who are the Taliban? These are also terrorist groups. Everything the UK and the US touch is always destruction. So let's go back. I'm going to play you some clip again on Libya, and let's watch. I'm going to analyze those clips for you. So let's watch.
Experience more with an Ingham's summer holiday. Lose yourself in glistening Italian lakes.
And we turn now to the president's speech itself. Hanging over this speech were the shadows of other wars and other presidencies. President Obama tonight sought not only to make it clear that Libya is not Iraq, but also that he is not President George W. Bush or even President Bill Clinton. Tonight, President Obama's goal was simple: to explain to a public skeptical about the war he's launched in Libya
what we've done, what we plan to do, and why this matters to us.
It has been 10 days since Mr. Obama ordered U.S. forces into combat in Libya. Nearly 200 Tomahawk cruise missiles launched, more than 1,600 airstrikes. And so the challenge for the president: justify this war and show Americans that the U.S. role really will be brief and limited.
The United States and the world faced a choice. Gaddafi declared he would show no mercy to his own people. He compared them to rats and threatened to go door to door to inflict punishment.
Okay. So do we hear what Obama said there? During the Arab Spring, the Libya people also came out like the Egyptians, okay, and made their voice, cleared and made their choice known to the world. Because Gaddafi was not listening, the US invaded Libya. We, as Nigerians, we have also protested. Okay? We've made our voice heard. Okay? We complained about the ongoing situation in Nigeria, what is going on in Nigeria, what the terrorist government is doing to Nigerians, the atrocities committed by the Janjaweed government, the Fulani government, the terrorist government, how they are supporting terrorists, how they imported foreign terrorists to Nigeria to kill Nigerians, and we are being forced to take in those people, accept them as Nigerians, and live with us as Nigerians. We have foreigners being imposed on us. Okay? They went to Libya, okay, when the people were complaining, and they attacked Libya. We are complaining. We as southern Nigerians, the Igbos, the Shekiris, the Yorubas, so many other ethnic groups, we are complaining about the atrocities going on in Nigeria. They turn a deaf ear to us. Until now, if you see them in Nigeria, they came to Nigeria, okay, for their own interest, not for our own interest. They didn't intervene. They did nothing. Okay? They went to Libya and intervened. They went to Egypt and intervened. They went to Tunisia and intervened during the Arab Spring. But when it comes to Black Africans, what did they do? They did nothing. They didn't intervene. Rather, they are actually playing on our emotional feelings. They were playing on our emotional feelings. Okay? Trading us off. And do you know why they are doing this? Because you are Black Africans, you are not important to them, you are not a priority on their list. They don't give a toss if you are killed by your government. They don't give a toss if anything happens to you. They don't give a toss about the rape going on. They don't give a toss about the killing going on. They don't give a toss about the poverty going on in Nigeria. So many things going on. Everything has gone wrong in Nigeria. There is no country called Nigeria. It's a terrorist nation. You hold that passport alone, and you see how you'll be treated at any airport. Even African countries like yourself that treat you like you're nobody. Countries you never thought they would treat you the way you're being treated. You're being treated now. Small countries. A small country like Kenya, okay? And if you go to the country, you want to transit past the country, you'll be single-handedly, as a Nigerian, be drawn away from the queue. You'll be removed from the queue. And you'll be questioned, extraordinarily. How you'll be questioned will be different from other people. That's a small country. A small country to Nigerians. That is what African countries, that's what they do to Nigerians now. You go to Ghana, population of 6 million, 7 million, compared to Nigeria, over 200 million. And the way you are treated as a Nigerian, or you are transiting the country, you'll be taken out from the queue, you'll be questioned. Anywhere you go with a passport, you're targeted. But is this good? Is this fair on you as a Nigerian? It's not fair. And we have some gullible countries who call themselves Western countries, okay, who open their mouths, campaign about human rights, okay, now violating our own rights. So who are you then? If I and others Nigerians decide that we want Nigeria to part ways, who are you then to tell us we have no rights? Who are you? Who told you you can dictate? Who are you? Even the British government, you have no right to tell us how we live our life. You have no right to tell us Nigeria cannot dissolve. You have no right to tell us, okay, that Nigeria cannot be negotiated, that Nigeria cannot be divided. Who says? Who says? Who are you? You are not in the position to tell us how we live our life. So I'll continue playing the clip.
It was Muammar Gaddafi, Obama said, who was the main reason for war. He was about to launch a massacre of his own people.
It was not in our national interest to let that happen. I refused to.
Ṣàgbọ́n nǹkan tí Obama sọ bẹ́ẹ̀ yẹn. Ó ní Saddam Hussein ló fẹ́ massacre àwọn èèyàn ẹ̀. Ó dẹ̀ ní responsibility US ni pé kó má jẹ́ kí yẹn ṣẹlẹ̀. Tó bá ṣe pé yẹn ni, if that is true, if what the America claimed back then, okay, it's the right thing. So why is it not applicable to Nigeria? We are being massacred, we are being killed, we are being raped on our own land. And you didn't do what you did in Libya. You have Nigerian citizens being massacred, being killed, being raped, dying of hunger on their own land, and they are complaining. You did nothing about it. Did you see the double standard? That was the reason why you went to Libya, to rescue the Libyans. Because you don't want Saddam Hussein to kill his people. Okay? And the same thing applies to Nigeria. Why are you not helping us? Why are you playing double standard? Let's continue to listen.
To let that happen.
And so the attack began. One question has hovered over this mission. How is it in the strategic interests of the United States to go to war in Libya? Robert Gates, Obama's own Secretary of Defense, complicated matters for his boss on ABC's This Week yesterday.
Do you think Libya posed an actual or imminent threat to the United States?
No, it was not. It was not a vital national interest to the United States, but it was an interest.
Tonight, President Obama sought to explain. He said that standing by while Gaddafi crushed the rebellion could destabilize neighboring Egypt and Tunisia and cast a shadow over the freedom movement sweeping the Arab world.
Okay, do you hear that as well? So why is this not applicable to Nigeria? They folded their hands and are now the Fulani government, the terrorist government, okay, crush Nigerians, crush the South, crush the Middle Belt, South, Southeast, Southwest, and the Middle Belt. They allow the terrorist government crush us. They allow terrorists crush us. We are continually crushed by the terrorist government, continually crushed by ISIS, ISWAP, Boko Haram. And nothing was done, okay, to stop it. Nothing was done to help Nigerians. Can we see the double standard? No, the US didn't go to America, okay, the US don't go to Libya to help the Libyans. They have their reason for going to Libya, okay? It's because of the mineral resources. It's because of the mineral resources. Okay, to steal mineral resources. The mineral resources that this country do not have, they purposely, deliberately invaded this country to take over their mineral resources. And they continue to do this and continue to get away. But this time, you will not get away because you are fighting a spiritual battle. This time around, you have been doing it and you've been getting away. And this time, in the case of Nigeria, you will not get away because it's a spiritual battle you are fighting. And when the katakata burst, Go and bring your fighter jet and fight God. We want to see how you're going to do that. How you fight your way with God. Once something happens, use your fighter jet to bomb it. So we can see all these things are double standard. We can see all these things are lies. Okay, these people are just there for their own interest. We have the US in the north. Okay, they are currently in the north. They deployed their army in the north. They pretend to come and help Nigeria fight terrorism, but they are not actually fighting terrorism. If they are fighting terrorism, the whole north is deserted now. North wouldn't have been deserted like that. But I tell you today, brothers and sisters, the US deployed its military to the north because of China to curb to actually curb the influence of China in Nigeria. That's the purpose. That's the purpose of deploying its military to the north of Nigeria. As you can see, if the US has been working very hard to help Nigeria fight terrorism, North wouldn't have been deserted as it is. As you can see, North is deserted because the indigenous people have been driven out of their homeland by the terrorist group imported into the country by El-rufai, by Buhari, and the Sultan of Sokoto, and Myetti Allah. So you can see these people are just there. The US, the UK are there for their own interests. And I bet you your days are numbered. Your days are numbered. When it came to our home time in the South, human rights is no longer a priority for you because of your interests. Our life doesn't matter to you. We are no priority on your calendar. And that is why you see all these hardwares, all this military hardware was traded off. It was traded off. They know these things shouldn't have been sold to the useless Janjaweed Government of Nigeria because they know the government itself is a terrorist regime. But they chose to sell the hardware. Under Jonathan wasn't a terrorist regime. They refused, the US refused to sell him military hardware to combat Boko Haram. But otherwise it's the case now. We have a terrorist government who was sold a military hardware, right, to combat Boko Haram, ISWAP, ISIS, and its cohorts. And do you think this useless government, the current useless government of Nigeria, will fight its friend? No, they will not fight their friend because they actually brought them to the country. They brought the terrorists to the country to take over the country from neighboring country of Niger, from Chad, from Sudan, from all those countries. They brought them into Nigeria to take over Nigeria. And you are now supplying them weapons to fight their friends, and you think they will fight themselves. Well, I think the US government is a fool for doing this. Do you think friends will fight each other? Have you seen Fulani fight each other? You think they will fight each other? And these countries are enemies. If you're talking about the UK and you're talking about the US, they are enemies to the South. They are haters because the South is about to break their bone. The South is about to break their livelihood, their source of livelihood, because Southern Nigeria is about to destroy the source of livelihood of America and the UK. That's why they keep supplying hardware, military hardware to the terrorist government to kill us in the south. That's my conclusion. This is why I draw from this. So the question is, they think they can overpower us with their hardware. You might come to the south and think you can overpower us, but there is something that can overpower you. Be you the mightiest military in the world, there is something which you cannot overpower, and that is God. That's why I said this battle is a military, is a spiritual battle. You think it's a military battle, you continue to supply the Fulani Janjaweed government ammunition to kill the people in the south, and you think you will get away with it. No, this is a spiritual battle. And when God starts, the problem is in Nigeria. It will spread to your country. It will spread to your countries. The Lord is about to deal with you. Your days are numbered. All your atrocities, all the evil atrocities you've been doing, okay, all around the world, you've been getting away with it. But the case of Nigeria, the veil is about to be removed. The veil is about to be removed. And when it's removed, you will take your own bite. You can't stop the bite. You cannot stop the bite. Your B-52 bombers cannot stop the bite. You'll be hitting hard. God will hit you hard in a merciless way you would never expect. You better prepare for this. You have your whole problem back home, and you are doing evils to others. You better prepare for it. Because Scotland is about to leave the UK, thus says the Lord. Scotland will divide. This UK, this country called the UK, will divide. Northern Ireland will join Ireland. Scotland will depart and will join EU. And you, little England, you'll be on your own. See what God is about to do. Thus says the Lord. He will crush this country. He will divide this country up. Some will prosper. When it's divided up, okay, some will prosper than the other. Do you know why? It's because of your evil deed. And most of this evil, England will struggle. Why Wales, Ireland, and Scotland will progress in a way nobody expected. And this country will go back and join the EU. Why England will be put to shame. So let's continue. So we have the US government and the UK government, right? They are cherry picking human rights. When they talk about human rights, Africa is not part of their plan. Africa is not part of their agenda. Nigeria is not part of their agenda. That is why they don't care about what is ongoing in Nigeria. That is why they don't give a toss if you're raped. They don't give a toss if you're killed by terrorists. They don't give a toss if you're butchered by terrorists. They don't give a toss if you're dying of hunger. They don't give a toss if you're dying of life. Right to life. Under the United Nations Charter, right to life is human rights. Why is the US government, why is the UK government not talking about human rights? Why are they not talking about it? You go to your farm, it's not saved, you are killed. So does that mean that person has no right to life. You've been butchered by Fulani for choosing to go to your farm and work. Make your livelihood for yourself and for your family. They cherry pick one at a time. Let's continue to play. Let's continue to play the Libya video I've been playing here.
But in the end, it is really a moral case the president is making for war.
Some nations may be able to turn a blind eye to atrocities in other countries. The United States of America is different. And as president, I refuse to wait for the images of slaughter and mass graves before taking action.
Ẹ gbà mí o, ṣé gbọ́ nǹkan tó Obama sọ bẹ́ẹ̀? Ẹ gbà mí o, ṣé gbọ́ nǹkan tí Obama sọ? The other countries, other nations can turn a deaf ear, turn a blind eye to atrocities, to human rights violation. But the US will not turn the back. They will not turn their eyes, okay, to atrocities. But this is what they have done. And this is what they are currently doing in Nigeria. How dare the US, how dare the Biden administration sell all this ammunition to the terrorist government, to the Janjaweed government, the Fulani government of Nigeria to kill us? It was same last year. Some hardwares were sold to the Fulani government, to the Janjaweed government, pretending to use those ammunition against terrorists. Now you're turning a blind eye, a deaf ear to the situation in Nigeria. So, can we see that what Obama just said doesn't add up? It doesn't add up at all. We can see that it doesn't add up at all. So who is at fault here? Pretending to be who you are. You cherry pick when it comes to human rights. You violate people's rights. You violate citizens' rights. You violate continents' rights. And that is what's going on in Nigeria. This is what is going on in Nigeria. You've cherry-picked human rights. So let's take a break. Just 2 minutes break.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọba Isa Olúṣọlá Adéyìn Ọláníyàn orúkọ òkè àti ilẹ̀ òkè tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì. Ilẹ̀ Yorùbá ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran ní wọ́n dà àwọn alámúlò kan nínú Yorùbá sọ̀rọ̀ dáadáa lórí àwọn ọba àti kan bàbá Yorùbá àti sọ̀rọ̀ àwọn adarọ̀ náà lásán ní ìgboro. Yorùbá ò lè jọ ẹ má fọ́n ta lọ́rọ̀ sọ kó má bá àmọ̀dé abájọ wa ẹ̀kan náà fìgbà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ wa òye wa níṣẹ́ náà pín rọ́ọ̀ṣù àtòrí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́nu wa wọ́n sì gbà ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ wa Yorùbá ẹ ti sọ àní ẹyẹ sọ oyè ẹ ti máa sùn kọ́ má padà mú wa ní rọ́ọ̀bù èṣù torí ogun bọ̀ ogun ẹ̀ tètè ká múra o. Ẹ jẹ́ ká múra ṣebí ìjọ lárọ́ bá ní kánú ló di ìjọba ẹ̀yin ọba wa ṣe bẹ́ẹ̀ ni náà ni bàbá wa ẹ má lajú yín sílẹ̀ kájéjì kó gba ilẹ̀ wa wọ́n lè pa àwọn èèyàn wa lójú yín ẹ jẹ́ kó máa padà sáyé ọba káṣe kó lè padà sẹ́nu ọba olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa gbàṣọba ṣèbí yẹn gangan ló pè ní ìjọba. Tipẹ́ tí o bá ti fẹnu ṣe, ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré. Lọ́wọ́ yìí, ẹ dúró dédé, kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lé onílé. Ìjọba ẹ ti ń sọ, àní ẹ lè sọ. Ó yẹ kí máa sùn, kọ́ má padà mú wa ní ogun èso. Nítorí ogun ń bọ̀, ogun ń bọ̀, ká múra o. Ogun ń bọ̀, ogun ń bọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká múra o. Ìjà yìí ti ṣe ìjà Sunday Igboho nìkan. Ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá, ó yẹ kí dé. Ẹ̀yin alágbára, àsìkò ti tó, wọn kì í sọ fáfọ́jú kò tó ń rọ̀. Òun kan máa mọ̀, ẹ jáwọ́ lápọ̀n tí ó yọ. Ẹ já gómi lábàáná, ìgbọràn sàn jẹbọ rírun. Ẹ jẹ́ kó tó àlàkòrò dúdú. Kò sẹ́ni bọ̀dí tó lè rínú. Yorùbá ló dalẹ̀ jù ẹ má fi bínú. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ààyè Yorùbá, gbogbo Yorùbá. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ààyè nínú òkun ẹ̀gbọ́n ti. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó olótìtọ́ ṣe máa jẹ ọ̀tá yín. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ẹ̀yin lẹ́dàlẹ̀ Abíọ́lá ká ó lọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ẹ̀yin lẹ́dàlẹ̀ tó ṣe ìjà gan. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ìjọwọ́ wà ní Yorùbá máa gbọ́. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó Yorùbá gbọ́ àtẹnujẹ ló ń pa wọn. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó kápò lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ọmọ aláṣọ àwọn àkìsà ó tún fẹ́ ní. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó ọmọ ẹran wá ń jẹ̀kùn ó tún dunnú. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó gbogbo kan tó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa ló ti kó lọ. Ẹ̀rù yìí tó bàbá ó ti pẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹnu ṣe. Ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré. Lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ dúró dédé, kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lé onílé.
Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan, ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo wa ní àṣedáadáa olóṣèlú wa ló ń lọ ní gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àgbàbà ọba Láwàdákẹ́, Ọ̀nìrìṣà, Aláàfin, Àwùjalẹ̀, Aláàfin, Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́, Alára, Àjèrè, Ọ̀ràngún, Àkàrí, Olúbàdàn, Bàbá Ẹ̀sọ̀rọ̀, Àtàdákẹ́, Bàbádákẹ́, Àbádákẹ́, nǹkan tó bá yẹ kí.
Orí àìsàn sókè, ẹ̀yin ọba Yorùbá. Àgbàgbà ọmọ tó ti ga orí láti bàbá mẹ́lọ́ọ̀dù. Ẹgbẹ́ mi lákọ̀ọ́yìn ọba.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Ọba Isa Olúṣọ.
Oh, thank you for that short break. So we'll continue from where we stopped before we went on break. You know. So I'm going to take you back to the UN Charter, Article 1 of the UN Charter, and what the article says about self-determination. So I'm going to share this with you. So this is the charter. So let's have a read. So this is the Charter of the United Nations, right? Article 1. So I'm actually particular about Article 1, subsection 2 of Article 1. So, and I'll read. To develop, okay, the purpose of the United Nations, that's Article 1. I'm going to read section 2 of Article 1. So the purpose of the United Nations had to develop friendly relationship among nations based on respect for the principles of equal rights, self-determination of peoples, and to take other appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because we have the US and the UK, okay, which I would say I'll call them more like they are the sponsor of terrorism around the world now. They are not different from the Janjaweed, the Fulani current government of Nigeria. But because we've seen how their invasion has led to the creation of terrorist organizations in Iraq, in Afghanistan, and also in Libya, as an example. So they are not different from terrorists because they actually created those terrorist groups, those terrorist organizations. They only call it terrorism when it suits them. If it doesn't suit them, they don't call it terrorism. But I've cited 3 examples. I've cited 3 countries as an example. We've got Afghanistan, we've got Libya, we've got Iraq. How these 2 countries actually created a terrorist organization which never existed in those countries before their invasion. So they are terrorists themselves. So if the United Nations Charter allowed under Article 1, subsection 2 of Article 1, allow us a right to self-determination. So what stops Nigeria from breaking up? Nigeria is the most populous black country in the world. Nigeria is the most populous country in Africa. So what stops Nigeria from breaking up? Who says Nigeria is non-negotiable? Who says that? How did they come about that? How did they come about the law? How did they come about this law that Nigeria is non-negotiable? Who says that? It's negotiable. Self-determination is also allowed in West Africa. Okay? So if we go back to the constitution of the West African nation, self-determination is allowed. A country, any country who is a signatory to United Nations makes you automatically you have to comply to this standard. You have to comply to this international law. Because you are a signatory, definitely you must comply. You must comply with these international laws. So if you are a signatory to this, any country that is signatory to the United Nations Charter, automatically it makes all the United Nations Charter, it can be directly, okay? It can be directly, okay, interpreted into the country or the state or the nation's constitution. So that made Nigerian constitution is void. That constitution is void because Nigeria as a country signed this proclamation. Nigeria signed this proclamation. So there is no reason why you cannot incorporate it into the constitution of Nigeria. How can you sign this? Okay, you have it as a law. Is also allowed in West African states. We have it there as well, and Nigeria as a country signed that as well. So we are talking about 2 laws now, international laws, which Nigeria as a country signed up to. And once that is signed up to, it makes it automatically you incorporated into Nigerian constitution, into Nigerian laws. If Malami doesn't know this, torí olódo ni Malami. Nígbà tá ń sọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́lọ attack ilé Chief Igboho, tí Chief Igboho gbé ẹ lọ tó sue ẹ, and that is a civil suit. It's a civil case. And we had Manami talking about setting aside a civil case. How can you set aside a civil case? Ṣé ẹ̀yà wèrè ni báwo níbo ló ti kàwé? Ta ló kọ́ ẹ nìyẹn? Àbí ó rò bẹ́ẹ̀ pé Islamic law là ń sọ ní ọ̀rọ̀ civil case ni? I mean, you can't be talking about setting aside a case, a criminal case, which is actually handled by the government. This is a civil case. Igboho ló sue yín for damages. And you are talking about setting aside a civil case. Only Igboho can set aside a civil case. If Igboho choose to, withdraw his case, he reserves the right to do that. He reserves the right to do that. And if he chooses to go forward with the case, he reserves the right to do it. In this case. And he went forward with his case. And we have Manami coming out. Video United Nations don't share their summit in New York last year, September, where Manami was interviewed by TVC News. He said it with boldness, Olodo. He said it with boldness that the federal government can set aside a case. I said, for goodness sake, if you want to set aside a civil case, this is a civil case. You have no power over it. Don't forget, it was somebody else that brought the suit, not you. Not you, Manami. And it's only that person who brought the suit can set aside and say, okay, I decide not to pursue the case. I've withdrawn from the case. Should the person choose to do so? But in this case, we have Manami making a claim to that the government has a right to set aside a civil case. Who says, Olodo, cannot go anyway. Olodo, from nowhere. They just brought you out from nowhere. That's what we are saying. When we have a bunch of idiots governing the country, you have dumpsters, bastards governing the country. They know nothing, empty heads governing the country. And won't leave. That's what they are good in. Playing a double game, playing politics with everything. That's what you Northerners are good in. Only. Mi ò rí olè tó tó yín ní ayé yìí. Mi tí rí olè náà. And you came out with boldness. You can see how embarrassing it is. We have the Attorney General of the state coming out saying such utterances. The federal government have the right to set aside what? You could go set aside a criminal case, which is actually handled by the federal government. But in a civil case, you have no power to set aside anything. Listen and hear very well. I don't know how you became the Attorney General of a state. You made a mess of the Constitution. You made a mess of the judiciary of the country. You know nothing about law. All you do is come out, play games, just as you are doing with Nnamdi Kanu's case. You continue to push the case, and of course, now. You are doing all this on behalf of the British government. We cannot say, nobody can say that the British government is not involved in Kanu's case. Kanu is a British citizen. He was abandoned. He was ignored. You tell me they are not involved in the kidnap. And the Bible says, by their words we shall know them. By their deeds we shall know them. What has the British government done to secure Kanu, to secure his release? They are happy with what's going on. And you will know from that, you can figure out that they are actually involved in his kidnap. These things were coordinated, it was deliberately planned. We have France that is involved. And not call Kwanwenyo. tí wọn ò ṣe. Ṣé ọ̀rọ̀ tá à ń sọ yìí ni? We have a right to self-determination. We have a right to freedom of speech. As long as my speech does not threaten your life, as long as our speech doesn't threaten anybody's life, and we reserve a right to it. We have the France, we have the US, we have the British who coordinated all these things together. Ẹgbẹ́ra France, ẹ kó orúkọ àwọn èèyàn tó yẹ kẹ́ ẹ kó wọn jọ. International warrant. Just for sticking up for their rights. Sticking up for the rights of their people. All this was coordinated from France. We have Emmanuel Macron. And you cannot say you are not involved in the arrest of Sunday Igboho. You cannot deny the fact that you are not involved in the arrest of Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu was not arrested, he was kidnapped. And you government, you Western government, cannot deny that you know nothing about it. When if you are fooling others, you can't fool me. They are actually enjoying it. You have you, Manami, their agents, who is doing their bid for them, or Muali, Malami. You are doing their bids for them. And you keep changing dates, keep pushing the case forward, you keep pushing it, keep changing the dates, just to, for your own, just to achieve your own gain. You people, you are planning for election. We election machine. Let's watch. We'll see how everything will end. We have the British and the US pushing you people. Let's see how it will work. And we've told you people, this case is a spiritual case. So, and I want the US, I want the British government to bring out their B-52 bombers. When God starts his work, bomb yourself, bomb your way out. I don't know how you are going to bomb God. I don't know how you are going to bomb his decision. Once God bomb his decision, once God decides to kill this person, he will kill the person. You can't stop God. So, bring out your B-52 bombers. When God makes his decision, begin to bomb God's decision. Let's see how that works. So, under this article, we the Yorubas, our brothers and sisters to the east, the Biafrans, our brothers and sisters to the south, and the middle beltons, they reserve the right to self-determination. That is what the law says. So who is the government? Who dare you? Who is the government that will come out and tell you you have no right? Don't let anybody deceive you. Anywhere you are, be it in the country, be it in Nigeria, should any DSS come to your place and harass you, tell that DSS to his face that you reserve the right to self-determination under the United Nations article, and that Nigeria is a signatory to United Nations. You reserve the right to exercise your right. Tell them to their face. Don't run from them. You can push us and you push us to the wall. And by the time we turn back, it will be hell. By the time we turn back, we will hit you up. It will be like a tiger. It will be like a lion hitting up his enemy. it will hit you up. And nothing will happen. Kò sí kankan tẹ́ bá sún àwọn èèyàn kọ́ ògiri tó bá máa yíjú padà sí yín gbẹ̀gẹ̀dẹ̀ máa gbiná ni. Heaven will let loose. You all reserve the right, a reserved right to self-defense. Any food or one you now, but about what they talk they'll come to your place and kill you anyhow. You won't fold your hands. You reserve a right. Right? You reserve that right to defend yourself. For defending yourself. We have all these corrupt countries, and you have the guts. You come to Africa, you lecture us about corruption, and that is what you are actually doing. Only enough to the stealing of our mineral resources. Enough of it. That will end. I want to see how you are going to do it. By the time we have our Yoruba nation, we have Biafra nation, we have Middle Belton nation. How are you going to do it? How are you going to steal our resources? Do you think we will allow you to steal our resources? You messed it up. You messed it up for supporting the Fulani. Supporting the Fulani and their atrocities. So, let nobody put fears in you. Because you have the right, you reserve the right to self-determination. You can discuss it openly in Nigeria or anywhere you are around the world. Nobody can stop you. Even the British government have no right to tell you you have no right to exercise that God-given right to self-determination. Who are they? They better pardon their kennel. They should mind their business. There's a lot going on around here. There is a lot going wrong in the UK. You have got your hands are full. Go and sort that out before you pop your nose into our affairs in Nigeria. So, ẹ má jẹ́ kí àwọn kan tàn yín. Àbọ̀rọ̀ mi ò yé yín ẹ̀yin ọmọ Yorùbá òdodo. Do not allow anybody. Okay. Do not allow anybody deprive you of your rights. You can discuss it openly. You can discuss it anywhere around the world. Should you be harassed by a police officer or DSS officer who are known around the world as violators of human rights, tell them to their face. Ẹ sọ fún wọn kó fi òfin yẹn wọ̀nyí, òfin tó sọ pé ẹ lè sọ publicly ń pé ẹ reserve right to self-determination. Any kó fi hàn yín. Here I will read again. That's chapter 1. Purpose and principles. Under subsection 2, we have to develop friendly relations among nations based on respect for the principles of equal rights and self-determination. I repeat again, self-determination. What to say again? Self-determination of peoples and to take other appropriate measures to strengthen universal peace. South Sudan is smaller than, Yoruba nation. They're on their own now. Russia was a big country. Then it was called USSR. Russia broke into different countries now. Amongst these countries, Ukraine, okay, and so many others. Estonia, and so on. We have Georgia as well. So just broke into different countries, and they are living their life now. And should Nigeria decide, who are the gullible leaders of Nigerians to tell you you have no right to self-determination? Tani wọ́n? Ṣé àwọn lọ́lọ́run ni? Ṣé àwọn ló dá yín ni? Ṣé àwọn ló fẹ́ make a decision on life yín fún yín ni? Tẹ́ bá ti sọ pé àsìkò ti tó nìyẹn, kò sí bàbá ńlá ilẹ̀ dá kan tó lè stop yín. There is nobody on this planet. When God says yes, who can say no? Nobody. Nobody can stop you. When the time comes, no matter how mightiful you are, no matter how powerful you are, no matter who you are, damn who you are, you can't stop God from doing its work. And tó bá fi Ọlọ́run gbárí, ọjọ́ yẹn ni tiẹ̀ parí. Ọjọ́ yẹn la yí ẹ̀ parí. So who are you to tell us we reserve no rights to self-determination? Tọ́lọ́run bá ti sọ pé right yẹn tó, àsìkò ti tó, we reserve the right. Ó máa ṣẹlẹ̀. Àsìkò yẹn díẹ̀ súnmọ́lé díẹ̀díẹ̀. Nobody on this planet can stop God's work. Tí Ọlọ́run bá sọ pé àsìkò yẹn ti tó, àsìkò ti tó náà nìyẹn. Take it or leave it. Ẹni tó bá fẹ́ lọ kú, òun ni kó lọ kú. Ẹni tó bá lọ forí gbárí, òun ni kó lọ forí gbágìrì. But God's work, God's prophecy shall come to pass. You can't stop it. So we carry on. So that is it. So brothers and sisters, there is nothing to panic about. When the time comes, we will achieve our Yoruba nation. We will achieve our Biafra nation. We will achieve that Middle Belt nation, and we will achieve that South nation. And nothing can stop God. Nobody can hinder God. Nobody can stop the prophecy of God. When God says yes, who can say no? I mean, nobody. So we continue. So we have seen how these people have played on our intelligence. We've seen how they are cherry picking when it comes to human rights. We have seen how countries are falling into the hands of the terrorists. We've seen the invasion of Libya, okay? How the USA pretended to go to invade Libya because of its people, to protect them. We have seen how the Iraq war played out and how terrorists were planted into a country that was formerly terrorist-free. We've seen that of Libya too, which was formerly terrorist-free. We've seen how these countries, these Western countries, okay, planted terrorists in the country. And we have seen how Afghanistan was handed over to terrorists. When Afghanistan was invaded, the promise made was it will be completely wiped off of any terrorist organization. But today, they failed on their promise. The country was actually handed over to a terrorist organization, the Taliban, by the US. You can see the damage these countries are causing around the world. You can see the destruction these countries are causing around the world. When they come near you, run from them, because anything they touch, whatever they touch, is always destruction. When they touch good, when they touch anything good, it ended up being destroyed. But what you see is destruction. Okay? Nothing good comes from them. What comes from them is always destruction. So fellow brothers and sisters in the Southeast, fellow brothers and sisters in the Southwest, fellow brothers and sisters in the South, it's time. Take up the mantle. It's your right. Do not be afraid. Don't let anybody intimidate you. Refuse to be intimidated. Stand for your right. Stand for your children. Stand for the future of your children. Nobody will do it for you. You have to do it yourself. Call on God, and it's time. We can see how God has been doing his work. We see what he did last year, and he continued this year. We see now how he has been taking people out, the people that stand as the evil, the people that stand on our way, blocking our way from making our journey to the promised land. We've seen how God has been taking them out from Yoruba land. We've seen how God has been taking these people out from Biafra land. We've seen how God has been taking these people out from South. Let's continue this journey. Do not relent until your goal is achieved. Do not relent until we achieve our goal. Do not be deceived by anybody, because these people, they are paid to do what they do. They are hired by this Western government, right? Okay, that's because they want their goal accomplished. But it is we who can stop that goal. We will stop it. We will put a stop to it, right? They will not achieve this goal. They better prepare, because you are fighting us. It is God you are fighting. This is a spiritual battle. I tell you, brothers and sisters, these people will not get away. That which they have been doing before, they've been getting away with it. But this time around, this is God's battle. He chose this battle himself. As you can see, what has been happening is unimaginable. We never thought all this thing will happen. But I as a person, saw those revelations. You see our kings dying in Yoruba land. More are going to die. Churches will be burned down. Mosques will be burned down. You better prepare yourself for it. Prepare yourself for it. Don't complain about it. Stand up for your rights. Stand up for your future. Stand for the rights of your children. Stand for the rights of your family. It's your God's given right to be alive. It's God's given right. You have a right to life, not being killed by the Fulani, not being killed by the Janjaweed government, not being killed by terrorists, not being killed by Iswap, not being killed by ISIS. You reserve a right to life. And if your life is cut short, that's a violation of your God's given right. Right to life is God's given right. It's God's given right. If any member of your family life is cut short, that means your right has been violated. You have a right to self-defense. Stand up. Stand for yourself. Stand for your children. Stand for your mothers. Stand for your fathers. Stand for your brothers. Stand for your sisters. Stand for your cousins. Stand for your nephew. Stand for your niece. Stand for yourself. And stand for your children. It's your right to be alive. Refuse to be killed by Fulani. Refuse to be killed by the Janjaweed Fulani government. Refuse to be killed by terrorists. Refuse to be killed by any politicians. The line has been drawn. This is a spiritual battle. God is taking his time and is doing it one at a time. Trust me, brothers and sisters in the South. God has just started. Write this down today. God has just started. This is a spiritual battle. Because God has just started does not mean you should not prepare. Prepare yourself. Prepare yourself. Nobody can stop God. And for you Western countries, you better prepare your B-52 bombers. I want to see how you are going to confront God. I want to see how you are going to stop it. Because Nigeria will divide. Nobody can stop it. Your B-52 bombers. I saw your B-52 bombers dropping off. kò sí èèyàn kankan tó ṣe nǹkan kan sí. You were not attacked by anybody. Your B-52 bombers was not attacked by anybody. But I saw all your 52 bombers. I saw your forces coming down. It's the handwork of God. So you better prepare yourself, because it is God that wants to deal with you this time. Prepare yourself. I don't know how you are going to handle it. I don't know how you are going to handle God. I want to see your confrontation with God. I want to see how you are going to bomb down God. I want to see how you are going to bomb everything with your B-52 bombers. Because as you are zooming up and down, God was raining his fire on your B-52 bombers. Raining his fire on your forces. This time, you'll be made to pay for everything you did. From slavery, to stealing of resources, to the margin of different ethnicity who were not one before. We were different people. You have amalgamated us together, and that amalgamation has expired. That amalgamation has expired. 2014. It expired 8 years ago. How come you wrote that rules that after 100 years, we are free, right? As a country, we are free to go our way if we think things are not going right. So how come we demand for that now? And you start on that. I'm asking you, the British government, you start on that. You better prepare yourself. Prepare yourself for the wrath of God. The wrath of God is about to fall on you. I want to see how you are going to handle God. I want to see how you are going to bomb God with your so-called B-52 bombers to join you. Brothers and sisters, it's nice. It's really nice having this broadcast today. Let's pay heed to what we are supposed to pay heed to. Let's start taking things serious. Things we are supposed to take serious, let's start taking them serious. We cannot take anything for granted. We cannot ignore anything. Everything is important. At this time, everything is important. Do not ignore anything. Because 1 billion helicopter, this Apache helicopter, will be used against the South. But we are not paying heed to it. As you know, they've packed all the ammunition in the South. All the hardwares in the South has been packed from the South straight to the North. So let's start paying heed to things we're supposed to pay heed to. Do not ignore anything. Everything is important. At this stage we have, by local Yoruba nation. And I'm telling you today, there is nothing like a referendum. Don't wait for any referendum. Declaration. 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 What is declaration? If you are waiting for referendum, nothing of such will happen. Okay? Nothing of such will happen. So let's read this together. Declaration. So a formal and explicit statement or announcement is going to...
Declaration.
Yeah.
Declaration.
Okay?
Declaration.
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 Can we hear that? Declaration.
Declaration.
Yeah. It's going to come in form of announcement. Everybody be prepared. Make sure you have this, our flag. Asiawa. And then Ojo tó bá máa ṣe declaration yẹn báyìí, ó máa wá bí òjijì ni. Nobody can stop it. We dare any country, we dare any government, we dare anybody to stop us. You can't stop us. Once God says yes, who can say no? Ọlọ́run ló ń ṣiṣẹ́ yìí. Declaration ló máa parí ẹ̀. Ẹ gbàgbé nípa referendum tẹ́ ń pariwo. There will be nothing like referendum. I've been saying this since last year. Stop deceiving yourself. Declaration, 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 declaration. When we have some country, they're already planning, they're already sitting, planning of how they will take over Nigeria. Iná ló máa pa yín. Àrá Ọlọ́run òun ló máa sán yín pa. If you make such move, the Lord will destroy you. The Lord will destroy your descendants. Go and write this down today. Ekole. So, let me read it out. Declaration is a formal or explicit statement or announcement. Get set. Your car, your Asiawa, that's our flag. Don't you kekere and kekere sizes near Budanu. Or just a declaration about Emma Loki in far. Tino everybody mad. And I dare any country or any nation or any leader around the world cover stop war from making our declaration. You can't do anything about it. You can't stop us. It's our right. It's our God's given right. And when God says, yes, it's time to do that, we will do it. So declaration is an announcement. It's a statement. Emma water to my announce or just about back it to my announce. Just look at what will happen. So we've got announcement. It will be a statement. On my post it on my statement here. On my announce it. It will be a communication. Pronouncement on my pronounce. We the people of the Yoruba ethnic, we thereby declare today. Just imagine how it's going to be that day. Imagine how it's going to be that day. Brothers, sisters, stand up. Stand up for yourself. Nobody can stop you. We will not be hindered. Okay? Don't look at the noise going out there. Don't look at the market noise. Don't listen to it. Just be focused till we get to our destination. Our journey will never be cut short. We will get there. We will get to our destination. We'll get to the promised land. And any pharaoh in our lives that's hindering us from getting to the promised land, they will be destroyed by God. Regardless of who you are, no matter how mighty you might be, no matter how mighty your battalion might be, God, in his infinite mercy, will destroy you on the Red Sea. So I read further. Proclamation, notification, announcement, revelation, disclosure, broadcasting, okay, annunciation, assertion, profession, affirmation, acknowledgement. That's how it's going to look like that day. So,
declaration.
Again.
Declaration.
Again.
Declaration.
Yeah. So that's declaration. If you're waiting for referendum is not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Take it or leave it. Referendum. It's not going to happen. So we better prepare ourselves, brothers and sisters. Don't let anybody deceive you. And I want to thank you, okay, for those who have taken their time to be on this show. I want to thank you I appreciate you. And make sure you help me share this. Share and share. Share and share. Okay? I want to thank you all.
Orúkọ tèmi Ọba
And that
Isa
will be the end of the broadcast.
Olúṣọlá Adéyí Ọláníyàn Orúkọ kíá tilẹ̀ òkè tó jẹ́ ọba pàtàkì nílẹ̀ Yorùbá. Ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn darandaran tí ó ń dá àwọn èèyàn aláàbò kan nínú ìlú. Gbogbo Yorùbá sì wà bẹ́ẹ̀ nítorí àwọn ọba àdìsí kan lágbà Yorùbá á sì sọ̀rọ̀. Àwọn dárò náà dá Sunday Igboho.
Yorùbá ò lè jọ ẹ má fọ́n ta lọ́rọ̀ sọ ẹ má bá àmọ̀dé abájọ wa ẹ̀tàn náà fi gbàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa òye wa níṣẹ́ náà brain wash wa torí tó bá dìgbà kan fẹ́ mú wa lọ́ sì gbàṣẹ sí lọ́wọ́ wa Yorùbá ẹ ti ń sàn àní ẹyẹ sàn oyè ẹ ti máa sùn kọ́ má padà mú wa ní ìrókò èso torí ogun ń bọ̀ ẹ tètè ká múra o. Ogun bọ̀, ẹ jẹ́ ká múra o. Yorùbá. Ìjọ lárọ̀ bá nígbà nìyẹn ló di ìjọba. Ẹ̀yin ọba wa, ṣe bẹ́yìn náà ni bàbá wa. Ẹ má lajú yìí sílẹ̀ kájéèjì kó gba ilẹ̀ wa. Kán yé pa àwọn èèyàn wa. Lójú yìí, ẹ jẹ́ kó bá padà sáyé ọba. Káṣe kó lè padà sẹ́nu ọba. Olóṣèlú gbọ́dọ̀ máa pàṣẹ ọba. Ṣèbí yẹn gangan náà pè ní ìjọba. Ó ti pẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹnu ṣe. Ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré. Lọ́wọ́ yìí, ẹ dúró dédé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lé onílé. Yorùbá ẹ ti ń sùn o, àní ẹ yé sùn o. Ó yẹ ẹ ti máa sùn. Wọ́n má padà mú wa ní ogun èso. Orí ogun ń bọ̀ o, ẹ tètè ká múra o. Ogun ń bọ̀ o, ẹ jẹ́ ká múra o. Gbogbo Yorùbá. Ìjà yìí kì í ṣe gba Sunday tó ṣe àárín kan. Ìjà gbogbo Yorùbá. Ó yẹ dìde. Ẹ̀yin alágbára. Àsìkò ti tó. Wọ́n kì í sọ fáfọ́jú kò jọ ọ̀rọ̀. Òun náà máa mọ̀. Ẹja ọlá kan tí ó yọ. Ẹja gómi lákàánú. Ìgbọràn sàn jẹbọ rírun. Ẹ jẹ́ kó jó wàhálà tó lójújú. Kò sẹ́ni bọ̀dí tó lè rínú. Yorùbá ló dalẹ̀ jù ẹ má fi bínú. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ẹ̀yin Yorùbá gbogbo Yorùbá. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra nínú ogun ẹ̀gbógun tì. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ọ̀dọ́ tí kò ṣe máa jẹ ọ̀tá ní. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ẹ̀yin lẹ́dálẹ̀ Abíọ́lá àtàwọn lọ́wọ́. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ẹ̀yin lẹ́dálẹ̀ tó dé ìjàgbọ́. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ìjọwọ́ wa ní Yorùbá máa gbọ́. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra Yorùbá gbọ́ àtẹnujẹ ló ń pa wọn. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ẹ̀kọ́ ìkápò lóko ẹ̀rù yẹn. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ọmọ aláṣọ wa ń wá kìsà ó tún fẹ̀yìn. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran wa ń jẹ̀bùn ó tún dunnú. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ọmọ tó lè ṣàǹfààní fún wa náà ti kó lọ. Ẹ̀rù ìdóra ó ti pẹ́ tí Yorùbá ti fẹnu ṣe. Ó yẹ kúrò lóko eré. Lọ́wọ́ yìí ẹ dúró dédé kí tẹ́nàtì má padà lé onílé.
Ọ̀rọ̀ yìí ṣe ọ̀rọ̀ Sunday Igboho nìkan ọ̀rọ̀ gbogbo wa ni o. Àṣìkò àdá olóṣèlú wà lọ́nlọ́run gbogbo ẹ̀yìn àgbàgbà ọba Láwàdàkẹ́ Ọ̀lẹ́rìṣà Aláàfin Àwùjalẹ̀ Aláké Ṣọ̀ún Ògbómọ̀ṣọ́ Aláàjì Ọ̀run Àkárí Olúbàdàn ẹ̀gbà wa ẹ̀ṣọ́ lọ́wọ́ Àgbàdàkẹ́ Láwàdàkẹ́ àwọn àgbàdàkẹ́ ìfọ̀n tó bá dé jù.
Ó yá sọ̀rọ̀ sókè ẹ̀yin ọba Yorùbá. Àgbàgbà ọgbọ́n tó ti ka orí láti bàbá mẹ́lọ́ọ̀dì. Ẹgbẹ́ mi lákọ̀ọ́yìn ọba.
So, if you have not signed the Yoruba Nation petition, I urge you all, as long as you are from a Yoruba descendant, one of your parents must be a Yoruba descendant, then you can sign up for the petition. Just go on Google search engine, okay, and then type on https://www.ominirayoruba2020 2022.org. I repeat, www.ominirayoruba2022.org. Please sign up. Okay, we urge you to sign up as quick as you can. Okay, you are doing it for yourself, doing it for your future, doing it for your family, doing it for your children, so we can liberate ourselves from this violence, from this chaos, from this madness going on in Nigeria. And take me from my words, brothers and sisters, don't ever call on the US and the UK, okay, to divide Nigeria, because they will never divide Nigeria. They are your number one enemy. They are the one encouraging the Fulanis. They are the one encouraging the corrupt politicians. They are the one violating your right. They will rather have you die in Nigeria for their own interest. So don't ever call on these people. Don't ever call on this government. They are your number one enemy. Don't believe whatever comes out from their mouth. Don't ever trust them. They are haters. Okay? They are haters. Please, don't ever call on these people. Don't ever trust them. Thank you for coming on my show. And I hope to see you soon. And the next show I'm going to do will be an exposition on the British ambassador to Nigeria. Anywhere this lady steps is always chaos, is always destruction. I advise you to go check her profile. She's a wicked fellow. She's been the tool the British government have been using. She has an office in Aso Rock. Do not believe whatever comes out from her mouth. She herself as a person, she's a devil and she's a destruction herself. And I'm going to do that exposition very soon. Take care and bye.
Orúkọ tí ọba Isa Olúṣọlá Adéní Ọláníyàn Olúkòkíyà TV.